welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today for another pick a card video. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome in. My name is Melissa, and welcome back for any of you who have been watching my 14 Days of Love videos series here on YouTube. Today we are on day 12, and what we're going to be doing today is digging into a little bit of a less romantic type of love video. We're going to be talking all about friendships today and just relationships in your life in general. So there's more to love than just romance, right? And the romantic connections that we make. We have relationships with lots of different types of people in our lives, whether it's friends, family, coworkers, acquaintances, etc., etc. So today's reading is going to be more of that self-exploration, self-discovery type of reading, really more centered on friendships and just other relationships in your life in general that may not necessarily fall under romance, okay? Keep in mind, you guys, that the messages in today's reading are really meant to be focused and centered solely onto you, the viewer, and how you can improve and how you can show up better. So we're not going to be digging into like other people and maybe things they've done wrong or anything like that. It's really just meant to focus on you and your own inner work that may need to be done, or just any sort of insight that needs to be brought up to the surface here. These messages are also general in nature, so please take what resonates with you, leave behind anything that doesn't. If a message does not resonate with you, then it's likely meant for another person. Just keep that in mind, and you can always book a personal reading if you want a more in-depth peek into your personal situation. All the details on how you can do that are listed in the description box down below. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and get into our card selection for today's video. We have pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go ahead, take a deep breath. Think about your friendships in your life. Think about your relationships. Ask how you can be better in those relationships. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and select the card or crystal that you're feeling the most intuitively guided to. Timestamps are linked below so that you can fast forward to your reading. Hey guys, for pile number 1, if you chose the little fluorite candy, let's go ahead and see what you guys need to know about showing up better in your friendships. So we're going to start off with this first message here. This is from the Affirmators Love and Relationships deck. You guys, this is like the cutest deck ever. So let's kind of see what your overall message is. So we have, I'm a catch. I'm a total catch, and I know all the reasons why. I know that anyone would be lucky to be with me, and that doesn't mean I'm arrogant or snobby. Self-respect is just one of many qualities exhibited by this complete and utter babe. Super cute, you guys. So it sounds like the overall theme of today's reading for you, pile 1, is all around like self-confidence. So really I'm getting this message that in terms of your friendships and the relationships in your life, it's going to be really important for you all to focus on knowing your worth. And I think also possibly even setting proper boundaries, really showing people in your life that they have to respect you. And it's not about being, as the card says, snooty or like exclusive to other people. It's just about protecting your energy, protecting yourself. So I'm going to set this off to the side for a moment, and let's go ahead and get into the rest of your cards, starting off with your tarot. So we have the Devil in the reverse. Sorry if you guys can hear my ice maker in the background. It's like really loud. And then we have the Fire Alpha Female reverse, which is the Queen of Wands. So yeah, you guys, it's definitely interesting that your overall message here is around self-confidence and boundaries, because those very same clues are coming through here in your tarot messages. We have the Devil reversed here. So this is about needing to kind of free yourself from obligation, free yourself from low vibe energies that bring you down. Maybe saying yes to things that you don't really want to do could be an opportunity for you. And you're really being guided to kind of let go of that. Let go of feeling like you have to do something, or that you are obligated or indebted to someone, even if it's something that really isn't resonating with you. Also, maybe kind of get a vibe that there's something here from the past in relationships for you guys where maybe you've been in some unhealthy friendships before, friendships that really brought you down, maybe friends that were like too attached to you, if that makes sense. Or it could be that you were too attached to them. And you guys are really being guided to like move out of that energy and really stand more independent and more confident in yourself just as an individual. We also have this Queen of Wands reverse, which talks about having like a lack of confidence, you know? So I'm definitely seeing a message here. It's important for you guys to kind of release from any of that negativity of the past and release from any need to kind of latch on to other people and be really working on how you can kind of stand confidently on your own in a friendship. And having, again, those proper boundaries, because Queen of Wands in the upright is somebody that knows that they are a catch. You know what I mean? And this is somebody that has proper boundaries, and they do have a lot of people vying for their attention, but they know how to say no. And they know how to do it in a way that's respectful to others, but also respectful to themselves. All right, let's see what else comes through. So we have the message of memory, impressions. Okay. And we have the desert sand, awaken your creativity. Yes, you guys. I love how things just like align so nicely in these readings. So with the message of memory, again, with that devil reverse energy, I do feel there's something here from the past, maybe a past pattern in relationships and friendships that might be causing a bit of challenge as you're trying to navigate maybe new relationships, or could be just challenging in the existing connections that you're in with friends, right? But memory definitely tells me that there's some sort of behavior, especially with that word impressions. It makes me feel like there's something that's been kind of impressed into you or ingrained into you about the past, or like a past pattern or past behavior that is holding you back from being able to stand up as your best self in your relationships. Desert sand, this talks about awaken your creativity. This is very much in line with that Queen of Wands message of how can you be the one to sort of stand on your own, take the lead, set the rules, set the boundaries, even in some cases, maybe being the one to say, this is what I want to do. Your friend calls you like, hey, do you want to go do something? And instead of being passive and be like, oh, I don't care, what do you want to do? Stand up and say like what you actually want to do. What inspires you? What kind of activities do you want to engage in with your friends, right? Don't be afraid to kind of stand up and say, this is what I want, is the vibe I'm getting from this. So we have faith, trust your faith in this situation. Okay, that's an interesting message. And then we have be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. Nice. Okay. Have faith. So I keep feeling again that there's something from the past here. You guys also have a lot of butterflies coming through in your cards, and butterflies are a symbol of change and ascension and evolution. Okay, so I almost am getting a vibe here that you guys are really actively trying to kind of release some of these patterns of the past, or maybe even release old friendships. Maybe you guys are actually finding yourself in a space where you are ascending and seeing things from a much different perspective these days. And so through that, it's like this, like trying to release the obligation of those old connections that no longer serve you. I do feel like that's something going on for some of you out there. But again, with have faith, this is just about trusting in the process, trusting in the fact that if you set a boundary and you stand up in your power and you're the one calling the shots in these connections with people, just know that everything is going to evolve exactly how it's supposed to be. If somebody gets upset about that, you know, have faith that that person was not supposed to be in your life. And all the people who remain are meant to be there anyway. You know what I mean? The people who respect those boundaries are your true friends. We also have be in the present and dream of the future. When we dream, everything is possible. So this is just speaking to a need to kind of live more in the moment and be more future focused and future oriented versus the past, okay? So again, that message of really letting go of any hurt from the past, any sort of toxic patterns, toxic friends, things like that, people who don't respect your boundaries, those people we need to kind of move away from and be more focused on what's happening right now with the people that we are connecting with right now, and really actively engaging. Remember, we had that creativity energy coming through. So being able to kind of stand up and say like, this is what I want to do. Let's go do this. Taking charge, offering up suggestions, really showing up in those friendships in the present, and always be thinking about how the future can go. Be more future oriented of like, okay, I've got what I have now. This is going to be even better going forward as I progress in these behaviors with friends. Leave all that nonsense from the past in the past. Rabbit spirit, now is a lucky time. That's a very lucky animal. Ooh, vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. Interesting animals, you guys. So with this rabbit spirit, now is a lucky time. So this is making me feel like new beginnings type of vibes in a way, where it's like, if you guys are connecting with new people, it's like, this is now's the time to invest in those people and really set those relationships up for success by standing in your power and being confident. I'm also getting a sense that even if this isn't about new relationships, but you're trying to work through current existing connections in your life, with setting these boundaries and standing up more in your power, now is the time that you're being guided to really go for that and do that. Just do it, is what it's saying. Rabbits move really, really fast. They move with a quickness. They just go where they want to go. They're always moving forward. So I think that this is just saying for you, pile one, that now's the time to start going ahead and practicing some of these new behaviors that you need to practice. Vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. This is interesting. This is about like really being able to, the message I'm getting from this is taking the lessons from the past of the old connections that have died off or the bad experiences that have happened, the things that are quote unquote dead. It's like being able to take those things and find the lesson in them, because no connection, no bad experience is necessarily a waste, even though it might feel painful, even though we may be left with those impressions of those things that happen. It's all a lesson, and it's all happening to us for a reason, so that we're able to then zoom the lens out, see it from a higher perspective, find the lesson, and then be able to go through this beautiful transformation and ascension. Vultures, they eat dead animals, right? And even though that sounds really creepy, right? When we think of a vulture, we don't think of something that's glamorous necessarily, but that is actually really important for them to do, because the dead animal that's just laying there in the road, unchecked, just laying there, it's actually festering bacteria and it becomes a danger to other animals, right? So this is almost about you guys being able to be using, again, those dead situations from the past and like finding the lesson in them, because it's not something that's meant to go to waste. Does that make sense? I know it's like a really long-winded way of like explaining that, but hopefully that made sense. So pile one, yeah, it just really looks like overall message for you here is around like just being confident in yourself, setting those boundaries, doing what feels inspiring to you versus what you feel obligated to. Don't be afraid to just like look forward to the future and keep ascending, keep transforming. I know a lot of us are going through that right now, especially if you're watching this at the time that I'm uploading it. And sometimes those older connections just kind of fall to the wayside as we grow and as we transform and become better versions of ourselves, and that's okay. So let me know, pile one. Those are all the messages coming through for you. I would love to hear in the comment box down below how this resonated with you. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey there, pile number two. So if you guys chose the Tiger's Eye Sphere, so beautiful. Let's go ahead and see how you can be better in your friendships. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to start with this Affirmators card to kind of get your overall message. All right, and we have the message of perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about? What will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you're 80 years old and you gaze back on the timeline of your life? In this moment, you're being given the gift of clear perspective of knowing that in the end, everything's going to be okay. Think large enough and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk and you're really onto something. These cards are so cute. So yeah, okay guys, so your overall message here is around perspective. This is about really being able to zoom the lens out on your relationships, friendships, family, whatever it is, and look at the big picture. If you're someone that kind of gets upset about certain things, or there's a conflict going on, something that's getting on your nerves about a person, it's totally natural. We all have it. For whatever reason, you guys are really being guided to focus on seeing the bigger picture right now as it pertains to your relationships. So let's just kind of see what else comes through in your tarot. So we have the Seer, which is the Hanged Man, which is all about perspective. And then we also have the Ace of Sky, which is the Ace of Swords. Wow. So you guys, I mean, hello, this is like basically this in your tarot cards. So the Hanged Man, this is all about perspective. This is about taking that time out to process, to gain enlightenment. Like, you're not just staying here stuck thinking about it forever and never going to do anything. This is about like needing to take a pause, to get that light bulb moment, to gain insight, to gain that enlightenment, to see it again from the higher perspective before you decide to make a move or act or speak even. Ace of Swords is also about realizations. This is about kind of also having a light bulb moment. Maybe you guys are being challenged, pile 2, to try to see things from not only a higher perspective, but maybe a different perspective than you've ever considered. Because especially when I think of this Ace of Swords, this is sometimes about like seeing something in a way that you have never seen it before. If you're getting caught in conflict, this could be telling you about like seeing the other person's point of view. Zoom the lens out, look at your side, their side. What's the conflict that's being created here together, and how do we fix it? I'm also hearing think before you speak coming through for some of you with this. This really is like Ace of Swords can also not only be about thoughts, but about words. And it can be very biting and cutting when somebody's coming at you with an Ace of Swords on a bad day. So I do think that for some of you watching this, you are being guided to think before you speak, think before you have a conversation. If you have that tendency to be kind of blunt in your communication, I totally relate, no worries, but just keep in mind that it may not be received well by others. So overall, kind of just seeing it from that bigger picture is really important here. We have the Taifa Earth energy, okay. We have the Pale Lime. What does that say? It's hard for you guys to see it on camera, but it says gentle healing. Beautiful. So with that Taifa, that earth energy, you guys, again, this is a very grounded energy, having your feet planted firmly on the ground, okay, which is kind of opposite. We're talking about like zooming the lens out, seeing it from a higher perspective. But what I'm really meaning by this is being a bit more practical and maybe slow to the way that we are communicating with others or going about resolving an issue. You guys also picked a tiger's eye, which is a grounding stone as well. So this really is about like a need here to sort of take things from a very practical, measured approach in your friendships and your relationships, especially if that conflict is coming through. I'm also getting a message here about building for somebody here too. So for some of you, I'm feeling like this is a message around like connections and the investment that you're putting into them, to really maybe take that pause before going into that effort mode, if that makes sense. But that's just for someone out there, I feel like. And then with the Pale Lime energy, which was about gentle healing, I do feel like this is really echoing that message of the Ace of Sky, like making sure that we're being gentle with our approach with others, that we're taking that time to seek that enlightenment before we come in guns blazing, saying something that we may regret later. Don't be impulsive is kind of what I'm getting from that. And also too with the Pale Lime, like this is also, it's green. It's like a heart chakra color. So I do feel that kind of connecting in with your heart and speaking from the heart is important here as well. Oh my gosh. Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change lives, including your own. You guys, this is so funny. So yeah, I love when these synchronicities come up. We also have, you are limitless. You can do anything you choose. Very interesting. Wow. So you guys, pile 2. Speaking the language of love, I mean, this is basically what I've been saying, you know, so when you all are having a conversation with people in your life, friendships, whoever it is, you want to come at them with a loving energy. And I think that this loving energy will definitely come from you being able to see the bigger picture here and to take that time out to kind of assess things before you come in to talk to them about something. Going at someone with a compassionate heart, speaking kind words, really trying to seek to understand their perspective and point of view and listen to them versus just maybe getting your point of view across. That's going to help you to improve these relationships much more because you're going to make people feel more connected and like in sync with you. You are limitless. This talks about you can do anything you choose. So I don't know if some of you all are maybe a little bit stubborn and you feel like with certain relationships that you don't have a choice or there's no other way to deal with this person, quote unquote, but this is just a friendly reminder to you that everything that we do is a choice. We have free will, right? So you can choose to adapt a new perspective. You can choose to kind of see the bigger picture. You can choose to make these shifts and changes in your life. You're not stuck in a pattern unless you want to be. So I do feel that there's something here for you all, maybe like around your mindset, again, with that Ace of Swords, that realization or thinking about things differently, that's going to be really important here with your friendships. We have the Moth Spirit, surrender now. So you guys, it's so funny. So many messages about perspective, surrendering with that Hanged Man. So yeah, this is just really further echoing that message. It's like, take a moment to like pause before acting. Don't just like, I think of a moth, how they're drawn to the flame, they're drawn to the light. And whenever the light comes on, it's like they always rush over there all clumsy and crazy. You know what I mean? No shade to the moth, but that's how they look to me. So I think that this is about you guys taking that minute, again, to take a pause before you just kind of like rush in and find yourself drawn into something that may not be serving you, or maybe even dealing with something in a way that's not going to serve everybody's best interests involved. We also have the Otter Spirit. You are never alone. That is so sweet. So yeah, this is, again, it's about that loving energy. I love how they're even like shaped like a little heart here, and they're embracing, like they just love each other so much. Yeah, so I think, again, this is about coming from a place of being from the heart, really meeting the other person where they are, and seeking that harmony, seeking that unity with the other person. I think that's going to help you, Pile 2, because when I'm just kind of looking back at your first card that we drew about perspective, you know, this is kind of just about saying, like, don't sweat the small stuff. You know what I mean? Like, before you start worrying about things or getting offended, and trust me, these things are normal. Like, it's okay to be annoyed and frustrated with people. That's totally normal. It happens to all of us. I just think that you're really being guided here to, like, don't react to every little thing. Don't sweat the small stuff. Again, zooming that lens out and trying to see it from the bigger picture. Like it says here, when you're 80, will these problems really be that big of a deal then? If the answer is no, then it's probably not worth it to fight about it or to worry about it even. So Pile 2, those are all the messages coming through for you. I'm very curious to know how this pile resonated with you. So please drop me a comment down below in the description and let me know. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to view, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey there, pile number 3. So if you guys chose the citrine crystal, let's go ahead and see how you all are guided to improve your relationships, your friendships at this time. So we're going to start with your first card, which is kind of going to represent your overall message here, your theme. Ooh, and we have acceptance. When I get to know new people, I accept their actual traits rather than the ones I project onto them. Interesting. Same goes for not new people I already know. Acceptance is the delicate art that reminds us everyone is their own unique self, and we can't expect them to ever be anything but. Very interesting message, Pile 3. So this is about, wow, this is powerful. And this is probably something a lot of people struggle with. I bet a lot of people are going to pick number 3. So this is about really paying attention to what people show you. Really believing people when they show you who they are. When we are connecting with friends, whoever it is, like, they're showing you every single day their actions, their behaviors, the way that they talk, you know, their likes, their dislikes, their boundaries, right? They're showing you who they are. Everybody here is unique. We all have our own unique traits, right? And so a lot of times what we tend to do is we like imagine that people are a different way than they actually are because we want them to be a specific way that they're not. So I do think that this is about you all, Pile 3, really being able to look at people through a more realistic lens and pay attention to the unique traits that they embody. Paying attention to those details, you know what I mean? And not expecting actions out of people who are just not going to behave that way because it's just not how they are. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what else we get. This is interesting, Pile 3. So we have the Strength card reversed. And we have the Fire Guardian reversed, which is the Knight of Wands. So you guys, pile 3, are really being guided to slow down. That's what I'm getting from this. Slow down. We have 2 very fiery energy cards reversed. Knight of Wands reversed. This is about like taking a more measured approach. Again, going back to this acceptance, paying closer attention to the details versus rushing in because we're all excited. You see how happy and excited he is? So cute, this little dog. But you guys don't want to do that. In order for us to notice the details about people, we have to take things from a more slow, stable approach. And I think the same thing here with the Strength reverse. This is like, I do feel like this is like a need to maybe be a little bit more patient, right? Like maybe you guys have a tendency to be impatient in connections, or again, there's this vibe of like not seeing things clearly. So maybe we're overlooking things again, because it's like we want things to be a certain way, or we're caught up in the fun or the emotion of the connection. So we're not kind of practicing that self-restraint that we need to fully assess the situation. We have the chalkboard, develop your destiny. And then we have snuggle, natural touch. That's so cute. So I definitely think with the chalkboard, when I think of a chalkboard, I think of like, again, writing things down, paying attention. You write a lot of details on a chalkboard, lessons on a chalkboard, right? In the old days, back when we used chalkboards in school. This says develop your destiny. So I think, again, this is about paying attention to what is being shown to you. And also being more forward thinking about what kind of connections do you want? What kind of friends do you want in your life? Being just a little bit more planful about what that looks like. Thinking of like the bigger picture. Snuggle, this talks about a natural touch, really allowing things to evolve naturally in divine timing. Do you get what I mean? Like, don't rush the process. Things will happen when they're supposed to happen with your relationships. Oh my gosh, we have slow down. That's so funny. I just love when these like synchronicities happen with the cards. Okay, interesting. We also have spiritual connection. So yeah, you guys, slow down. That message is coming through loud and clear with so many of your other cards. It says pause and allow things to unfold. So it can be really exciting when we make a new friend or we make a new connection, and especially when it's someone we have that chemistry with. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here with that Knight of Wands and the Strength. Is like, those are very fiery, passionate kind of cards, fun cards. So whether it's romantic or whether it's a friendship or whatever it is, it's like maybe you guys have the tendency to just get kind of swept up in that chemistry that you have with a person, and you're missing like the details of what they're actually bringing to the table. So you're really being guided here to like slow it down and pay closer attention. Like, see how this unfolds before you just give all of yourself over to the connection, okay? Spiritual connection, a relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. So again, that planning, that destiny, like, when you're connecting with people, do you guys really click on that deep level? Do you click on that spiritual level where you guys just have everything in sync? And it's not just about chemistry. It's about like beliefs, and it's about the way we view the world, and it's about like the respect that we have for each other, things like that. Like you guys are really being guided to focus in on building more ascended, high level connections in your life, not just fun party friends and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? We have the mouse, tend to the small things. We were talking about that already. That's interesting. Ooh, and then lion spirit, be generous of spirit. Lots of messages about spirit. So you guys are definitely loud and clearly being guided here to pay attention to the details with that mouse spirit. And that's coming through with like the chalkboard, the snowflakes. A lot of your cards are showing that synchronicity here. So when you all are getting into connections, just make sure that you're paying attention to all the details, really thinking about, what is your ideal friendship? What does that look like? What kind of qualities and characteristics are you wanting a friend to bring to the table, or a relationship? Even if it's a family member, what are you wanting them to bring to the table? A romantic relationship, what do you want? You know what I mean? And really be able to like assess that person as you're getting to know them and, having a good time, paying attention to what they're saying and doing versus telling yourself a story about what you hope them to be. Does that make sense? And with the lion spirit, it's funny we have this because the Strength reverse is the sign of Leo. And in the traditional tarot, it actually has a lion depicted on it. So this is interesting. And I feel like what this is saying is that when you all build a spiritual connection with someone, that is when you can give to them and be generous with your time, your effort, and your energy. When you're building more of these like surface level kind of fun connections and you're investing, and you're not really getting it back from them, those are the type of connections that may take advantage of you. So this is really talking about having the confidence to, again, assess, stand in your power, and you guys can set a boundary. You don't have to feel like you've got to give so much to people, especially if they're not on your level. Be generous of spirit when you have that high vibrational connection with other people. And I think, again, going back to your initial card, learning to maybe appreciate the uniqueness of the individuals in our lives. Because not everyone's going to be exactly what we want them to be. Not everyone's going to be exactly what we hope them to be, but we can still accept and appreciate them for exactly who they are. So very interesting, pile 3. I would love to know how this resonates with you. Please tell me about your friendships and your relationships in the comment box down below. I would definitely like to hear. Thank you for taking the time to view this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey there, pile number 4. So if you guys chose the little pink Himalayan salt, let's go ahead and see how you can be better in your friendships. So the first message we're going to pull is kind of the overall theme of your reading. And for you, pile 4, we have the message of levity. Laughter is the best medicine, and it looks like it's time for you to take a sweet, sweet hit of it. When someone annoys you or a plan goes awry, try finding something funny in there. And if you ever feel like the butt of the joke, remember that the only difference between someone laughing at you and someone laughing with you is that in the first version, you're not laughing. You always have the option, so opt to light up. Cute. Yeah, okay, so pile 4, what I'm really getting for you is that when it comes to your friendships, I feel like you guys need to maybe lighten it up a little bit. Maybe not take things so super seriously. Maybe some of you guys out there watching this pile 4 kind of like are very planful, and maybe you like when things are the way they're supposed to be and things like that. I can relate to that. Being a Virgo rising, I'm very particular about certain things. So I think you guys are just being kind of guided to maybe eliminate some of that kind of structure or that more rigid thinking about things and learn to find the sort of like lighter side of things. It's just like learning not to take things too seriously. Okay, let's see what else we get though. So we have the 7 of Cups. Ooh, and then we have the Judgment card, but it is reversed. Interesting, pile 4. Yeah, so, okay. The Judgment card reverse is really calling me when we have this message of levity here, all about like not taking things too super seriously. And I feel like maybe with this Judgment card being reversed, sometimes you guys may have a tendency to sort of not prejudge, but maybe if somebody does something in a relationship that bothers you or that rubs you the wrong way, I do feel there might be a little bit of a judgmental tendency here with the Judgment card being reversed. Maybe not being as open-minded to try to understand like the other side of it, or maybe it's like we just kind of peg this person in a box after they mess up one time. That type of vibe. Like forgiveness is really important here, is something I'm getting with the Judgment card reversed. Now, we also do have the 7 of Cups. So with the 7 of Cups, this is also really giving me that more levity kind of vibe. Like this is about being kind of dreamy, being kind of like disorganized in a sense, less structured, more disorganized, more kind of go with the flow, kind of like what options do you want to take? You know what I mean? Like it is a very like lighthearted, dreamy, almost scatterbrained kind of energy that you guys are kind of being guided to embody. But being in this energy, I feel like is going to help you guys to sort of like lighten it up a little bit and not take things so seriously. This is a very explorative kind of card too. So you can see like this doggy, he's looking at all these different options he has of what lily pad he wants to jump on. And look, there's different little treats on each one of these lily pads that he can pick from. So this is about like kind of exploring things too, a little bit more in depth, or just exploring a lot of options in general. You know what I mean? So when it comes to kind of lightening things up and having fun, I think you guys want to explore options in your friendships, explore different friendships, explore different connections, right? And don't take it so seriously if things don't work out, or, you know, get into a space where you're like judging other people or not able to like let go or forgive things from the past. Like you're being guided right now to be a little more exploratory. Okay, so we do have the cornflowers, stand up to the elements. We also have coral, mercy, and forgiveness. What did I say, pile 4? Yeah, so you guys are definitely being called to kind of be a little bit more forgiving in relationships with people. Like, again, going back to that levity card, it's like being able to show like mercy. If somebody messes up or if somebody cancels a plan, it's not the end of the world, and don't take it so personal. It's like, a lot of times people just have other stuff going on, and so they don't always show up to the connection in the way that we want them to or the way that they said they would. So we have to learn to kind of show a little bit of grace and forgiveness to that. And this could even just have to do with connections from your past, pile 4, as well, that maybe there's still a little bit of healing that needs to happen with those relationships. But yeah, forgiveness is huge here for you guys as you're dealing with your friends. We also have the cornflower. This is a very bright blue sort of like energy, and I do feel like this has to do with communication. This talks about standing up to the elements. So how are you communicating with your friends? How are you expressing the way that you feel if things aren't going the way you want? Are you holding it in and judging, or are you clearly laying out your expectations, right? Like there's definitely something here around being able to communicate clearly and express your voice in a way that others will understand that maybe they've messed up. And maybe some of your friends don't even understand what they've done, or, you know, if you are just kind of shifting your energy and not really speaking clearly about what went wrong, then there could be a little bit of confusion that your friends might be feeling from their end. We also have get to know each other, learn to meet another's need for love. Very interesting. And honesty is essential. Speak with love and truth. I love it, pile 4. Very clear message coming through for you about your friendships. So yeah, honesty is essential. I think going back into that cornflower energy, this is about being able to tell people exactly how you feel. Take the mask off. You see how he's wearing a mask? But he's offering her a flower, a red rose of love and forgiveness, like the coral, right? So I think it's just important for you, pile 4, to kind of work on your communication and your friendships. And if somebody has done something that you feel has been wrong toward you, or that offends you or hurts your feelings, instead of bottling it up and kind of judging them or on the inside, you guys want to just tell them how you feel, but do it from a place of love, from the heart. We also have get to know each other, learn to meet another's need for love. So there may be something here around learning what the expectations of others are around you, and also letting them know what your expectations are. This is about kind of like that communication. Again, back to the cornflower. If you have a standard that you need from your friends, go ahead and tell them, you know, and vice versa. Ask them, what do you need from me? Like, what do you want from a friendship? You know, things like that can be really important to kind of put out there on the table so that everybody's sort of on the same page. And I think just understanding how other people kind of operate will help you to not take it so seriously or to get offended when somebody does something that you don't like, or someone does something that, you know, maybe you're perceiving it as being like offensive to you or rude to you, but really maybe it's just the way that they are and it's not even about you at all, if that makes sense. So yeah, learning how people kind of operate and navigate can help you, I think, in your friendships, pile 4. We do have the groundhog spirit, time to let go, okay? Rhino spirit, overcome any obstacle, love it. Very positive messages. So yes, again, letting go of the past, letting go of any hurt feelings, learning to forgive with that judgment energy is going to be very important here, pile 4. Yeah, I think overwhelmingly that's a huge message coming through. It's like being able to just, you know, learn about people, take them for who they are, and communicate. And then don't hold on to anything that is bringing you down. You know what I mean? Because not forgiving the other person is only going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to put up a blockage. It's going to make it harder for you to connect with other people because you're going to be holding these grudges that you don't necessarily want to be holding. So let them go. Let them go through talking about it. Let it go through communication. Let it go through exploring new friendships or new options in your life too, like we talked about. We also have the Rhino spirit, overcome any obstacles. This is about being able to have that strength and fortitude and that perseverance to be okay and just know that you're going to get through it. Rhinos are also very like solitary animals too, from what I understand. You know, so there could be something here for you, Pile 4, to kind of learn to stand stronger on your own outside of relationships, maybe even getting to know what your own boundaries and expectations are in friendships, in relationships first, so that you're able to come into connections much more confident to speak to the things that you want and the things that you don't want. The behavior you will accept, the behavior you won't accept, that type of thing. Not that you're going to go in really hardcore and say it like that, but you guys know what I mean. Like, it's important to be able to stand independently, you know, outside of relationships and kind of know your boundaries and know your deal breakers and things like that, so that when those obstacles come through, it's like you know that you're going to be okay because you're standing true in your own values. You know what I mean? So yeah, the biggest message I definitely feel coming through for you, Pile 4, is just around being able to lighten it up, be able to forgive, have fun, explore your friendships, explore connections. Don't take any behavior that is maybe you're perceiving it as like an attack or you're perceiving it as like offensive. Don't let it get you down, because more than likely just certain people just have certain things that they're doing in their life. They get busy. They probably don't even mean to offend you half of the time. So yeah, definitely let me know, Pile 4. Let me know how this message resonates with you. I would love to hear from you in the comment box down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.